Welcome back to Factorio Space Exploration. My name is Nilaus, and we're continuing on our journey here with the guide walkthrough. I know that the previous episode was a little bit of a intermezzo. It was there to show the people that are following this series on Twitch, where I'm streaming it on Sundays, that we have to clear out the bombs, and then we can focus on the actual gameplay, and that's what I'm going to be doing for this YouTube series, is going to be focusing on the gameplay and trying to make a guide on how I do things so that you can find your way through this rather complicated mod pack. Today we're going to do the astronomics, so that is the main part. This is Astronomics Science Pack 1. So let's have a look at it. There are a lot of stuff that happens here. This is all happening in orbit, so that's well, that's something. But we also have the beryllium plate, and beryllium plate is going to be our first headache. So we need to figure out how to do beryllium plate. It comes from beryllium ingots, comes from beryllium powder, comes from beryllium hydroxide, comes from beryllium sulfate, which also needs the cyanide rod, and then comes from beryl that is mined, and that comes from needs some sulfuric acid. So what I have decided to do in this series, otherwise I will never ever get through it, is that I will be taking everything and mining it and refining it only to the point where I'm not dependent on anything else from any other planets. And then bring it back to Novice. That is not how I think the mod is supposed to be played, but that's definitely how I'm going to play it. The reason is, I want one big base on Novice, and I want one big base in Novice orbit, and that's it. Then I want everything else to be smaller outposts that just gather stuff and send it home. The reason why I want to do that is because I love building big factories. I don't enjoy the part about sort of this part I'm doing right now, where I now want to go to a place, and then I spend half an hour just trying to think about all the things I have forgotten, and then go there, and then I realize that one more thing I've forgotten, and then I just have to either send an entire spaceship with those spare parts, or I have to go back and then waste rockets back and forth. So I end up in a analysis paralysis state. And I just don't find that to be particularly fun, and I don't find it interesting to sit on a planet and realize that, or sort of what we are doing right now. Let's have a look at it. Look at this one, for example, and then realize that maybe something is stuck. Something gets stuck because the heavy oil is getting jammed up here, and then I have to fly to that location to fix it. And also just looking at this and go like, ew, that's kind of old-fashioned. Ugh, man, that's not good enough. I need it bigger. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go back to this one, not now, but, you know, eventually, and just simply find another patch like this one and just mine it, crush it like this, because that's a simple crush, and then just send it back so I can do all of this part on Novice, where I also have the other things, because as these things get more complicated, they start requesting things from lava planet, they request things from frozen planets, and it's just absolute annoyance that to figure that out. So that's how I'm going to be playing this game. It also, it works in the way that I play it because of the interaction I have. I get more resources, I get more mining productivity than is usually defined, and therefore I have a little bit more flexibility. So speaking about what we're going to do today, we need to find a location that has a lot of beryl. This one has a lot of beryl. It also has something wonderful, something else. Here it has a little broken spaceship. So we're going to go there, harvest this mining location. How big is it? It is 13 million, good. And set up a little base, and then take the spaceship back home. So for that, I have brought a ship here. I brought some stuff that I think I'm going to need. I actually shouldn't be putting these in here. I should be putting them into my own inventory, if at all possible. Because these kind of things break. But it needs to fly there. Asteroid belt, general vicinity, launch, go. Alright, so as we go through the launch sequence, thank you very much for following this series. And if you want to see it continue, leave a like. Subscribe to the channel, come by the Twitch channel, all that stuff. I am continuing this as long as there is interest. If I see the interest waning, I am simply going to stop it, because I don't feel any obligation to complete this entirely. Oh wow, this is awful, right? They are going to do this. So thank you all for your support. Let's see. Well, now I need to, we can do that, and we can do that, and then I can start picking up some of these parts here. And I will be starting to make a... Where are we? Oh, wow, really far away. I'm going to make a little outpost around this part here. So I built the very first little rudimentary part of our base, and put in some logistics parts, and they start cleaning up. So let me explain what I have set up here. I have set up a single location. This one will be... it's definitely not flying to cyanide rods. It's there. This one is also not sending to anything, but I want two of these. One of them is going to be exporting the barrel back to Navis, and the other one will be just for me to fly, because I might not necessarily want to fly that. So I'll just leave an extra one just because. Then I need some inputs, and what are the things I need input for? I need, this one is just for generic landing. This one is for all the parts that we need to get in here. And then the last one here is actually going to be for, let's see, I'm pretty sure we have it. So let's set that up. There we go. That's going to be you. Great. So these are pumping over and they'll fill up this. They'll fill up here. And we don't know where we're going exactly, but let's start mining the next part as well. So let's start with the miner, and we're going to be using the big miners. And here we go. This is pretty much as good as we can make it right now. I am obviously not able to fill up 2 belts when I only mine 1 belt, but the mining of 1 belt will continue from now on until, well, eternity. And I will sometimes be using a lot and sometimes not, so I have this buffer to just fill up a little bit more. And we'll also, when this one's launching, we'll just need to get it going. So this one will now need to go back to Navis. No, it actually needs to go to any landing pad with that name. Unfortunately, I don't have that name yet, so let's set that up on Navis and get ready to receive some barrel back on the planet. And we're back here on Navis and build this monstrosity, because I realized that if we want to get a lot of throughput, then we also have to make sure that it can actually get on trains pretty quickly. And we might even need to have multiple trains, but let's deal with that problem later on. But this one is just for transferring. This is for transferring, this is for transferring, and here I have something that's stored to go into the train, so I can unload out of this with 14 inserters, and I can load in here with 10 inserters. If only we had bulk inserters, right? That would be so much easier. Anyway, so the only thing we need to do is now we have to set this one up and just give it that name, and then it should be coming in here automatically. Oh, fingers crossed. Is it working? And while we wait for this one to come in, anxiously, to be perfectly honest, then I am going to start looking at what I need to build then next, because that's the design part. I just built one of these because we have to look at, oh my god, why is it not coming in? Oh, it is coming in. Yay. Whew. Okay, that was good. And there it starts filling up. So good. All right, that means I don't need to look at it here. I can actually go to the location I want to be, because I want to build it in this beautiful location I have prepared. Oops. There, I have prepared. And then let's start looking at the ratios. All right, this is where we get to the more complicated part, because we have to follow this chain all the way from the beginning. That was not it. This one, this one, this one, this one. So the first step is from beryl to beryllium sulfate. And we're just going to show you the ratio, or the ratio that I want to do. So the thing is, this one, and I'm going to be using these productivity modules. This is why we built it here. And then I'm going to be building 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe. That's actually 8 in total. And I'm going to jam this one in here in the middle. Something along the lines. And then I'm going to, yeah, this is not going to be perfect, but it just gives us somewhat of an idea of what it's going to look like. Then I can fine tune it afterwards. This is going to be our baseline. It consumes a full belt inbound, and then I produce about 10 of those outbound. So moving on to the next part, which is part of this process, and there must be a simpler way than doing this one. That goes from this beryllium sulfate to beryllium hydroxide. Cool. Let's do that. And that goes like this, I think, and that will be next. And I will also be getting this one in here, and that will be another beacon. I have to make sure that they don't overlap. And if we just do this one now, that consumes 13, so it consumes a little more. And then we go on and just copy paste this one. If I do that, then these start being broken. Yes, they do. So I need to go a little bit further up so that they don't break from that. I really like the implementation of beacons. There's a lot of things I don't like implementation of in this mod pack, but beacons is not one of them. I love the beacon implementation. So if we look at this all the way through, it is going to start by consuming 30, not 32, because that's a red belt, and we only use red belts for whatever reason. Then we can consume all of this, and that goes in here. It becomes the beryllium sulfate. All the beryllium sulfate can be consumed, and it goes all the way through. And then we need to go it into a furnace. So those are the industrial furnaces. We need more of those. I'm kind of overscaling everything to the extent where I can make it into, let's say, something that is that's a nice clean ratio here. So these will be here, and they will also be getting a glorious amount of that. Oh man, we probably don't have enough. And then with that one and that one as well. And get some beacons here and here. And oops, there. And then get some. Get these everywhere. And that should also be enough. No, they're still not connected. There. Here. Looking good. Consuming 19. This one is producing way too much. It's actually way overscaled, this one. But if I follow it all the way through, this should be a good ratio. And I'm kind of building a little bit better here. And then the last part is going to be these small ones. Small, relatively annoying ones. And actually they need to have one space between them. Here. And that will be casting it into ingots. And I know that a lot of people would go like, oh, use the ingots, don't continue processing it. And to that I say like, I don't care. I'm going to continue processing this because that is kind of how I'm going to use the barrel plate, and I don't really care so much about, that's funny how that's not connected. Don't really care about sort of compression very much in terms of, yes, I'm going to be, this is super high compression, but I don't really care about that kind of compression. It really doesn't matter to me. Maybe it will eventually later on, but not really right now. And if we do something like this, then we're actually at a point where we have now the entire chain done, and that will just be, everything will be consumed. The problem with this one, as we go all the way through, is that I need some pyroflux, I need some cyanide rod, and I need some sulfuric acid inbound, and then we have all this stuff. So we have an excess, small excess of sand, an excess of water, and then all the rest of it will just fit in. So I want to melt 2 of these, and it's basically going to be more like a string like this. And we need some inputs, we need some barrel inputs, we need cyanide rods, we need pyroflux, we need sulfuric acid. So 2 inputs on this side, 2 inputs on that side, and then hack it all together. Let's see how that works. So after much hacking and slashing here, we have a design that maybe works. It's a little bit crowded. You can see there's not a lot of extra room, and I think it's time for us to try to get something inbound. Let's see if we can set this train station up. Actually, I could just set it up as like this, and we will see a shipment coming in here. This pyroflux here is going to go in somewhere here, I guess. I guess that's a little bit of a hack here. That one and that one. And okay, so that comes out. And the pyroflux is also filling up here. Then on the other side, we have the sulfuric acid, which should go into... where the hell does that need to go in? It needs to go in somewhere. Where was it again? Where did we make this sulfuric acid? Oh, the very first one. There we go. Sulfuric acid has not even been set up, so we'll just set that up. That should be easy enough to set up. It's just going to go like this, and then it'll be merging over here. And then go to this location, and we'll go this way. All right, that's close enough. Inbound and... inbound. Good. So that's also filling that one up. And then the last one here, this is the one we haven't done yet. So we will be setting that up too. That's definitely not it, is it? I don't know. Let's see. Roll. There we go. That is it. And is it coming in? Yes, we have a train coming in. So as the train comes in, we can have a look at how it actually works. There is an overflow here of stone, which goes out and goes around. And then goes back in here because the very last part needs a bit of stone, and it actually needs less stone than this. And then I also need to make an overflow here. This will need to be prioritized outbound, and then go in here to something that will never ever fill up. What is that? What will never ever fill up? That is landfill made from sand. It's not stone, it's sand. And then I'll get that one in here, and then I'll be building into a gigantic box of uselessness. There we go. That's a gigantic box of uselessness. That one will never ever fill up. And if it fills up, then we've kind of, that's a heat death of the universe. Cool. So let's have a look. We get a full belt in for each of these. That's going to be consumed. Working with sulfuric acid. Get some water out. The water gets consumed back here. It's all good. This one also squeezes out some more water. So that's, again, more water that gets used. This one actually needs, though this is also squeezing out water. Now this is using a bit of water. Anyway, what I've done is that I've made sure that it only empties here. No, I have not. I wanted to do that, but I didn't. So this one will only do it when there's more than 5,000 water, because there is a little bit of a surplus of water here. And that surplus of water has to make sure that if I do this, if I set it up to 5,000, that means that there will be 20% in each of these pipes, and that means everything will be filling up. So this one's just a little overflow to make sure it doesn't jam. And here we get stuff in here. Let's see, are we working? They're getting a little bit in here, not a lot, but it will eventually get here. And then they go on outside and go in here and get converted back into the very first barrel plate. So now I just need to set the barrel plate into a location from the train, send it into one of these. I think I still have idle locations. Nope. Here. I have idle locations here, so we can just take one of these and make that into barrel plates, for example this one. And then send it to orbit. And then we can work on the other part of the astrometrics. That was the first half. And the most cumbersome half, I think. And so we're back up in orbit, and now we have brought stuff inbound. And what we want to do is we want to build all the process that we need for the ASTRONOMICS data science pack. We got the beryllium plate, it's coming up here. We now significant data, we know how to do that. We need to do all these things, and that means we need some observation frames here, observation data. That means we need some observation frame here, and then some process. So in the interest of making it go a little quicker, so we don't have the runtime of this video just go way too far, I've done a little bit of preparations in advance, of course. The first thing we want to do is we want to make a blank observation frame. You can see you can also make it with beryllium plate, but that's way too expensive. So we'll just make it like this. And we'll be hacking it with a lot of these. There we go. And this one will be getting all these things inbound. These two are coming from the bus, and I also need to get here. This will be a place where we unbarrel that one, and then I'm going to be bringing it in here, and that will be you're going to go in, copy, paste, and that's a little bit too much. Let's just get 50. And I'm also going to get, for now at least, I think I'll just do this part. Yes. And I also now need a junk box for the residuals here. That one. And then I need an inbound belt. It just so happens that someone has been kind enough to grind us a belt of usefulness. And we now also need to make sure that we get stuff outbound. There are no residual outbounds. Nope, they're just like this. So we'll just get it out here and get it back on there. So we need to make a lot of this. Maybe not this much, but like this. Let's do that. Cool. So now we have the observation frames, and then we start making the next part. Next part will be, yeah, where are you? Telescope. There's a telescope here. There. That is like that, and then like this, and like this. And these will be, let's say, just take the first one. And ooh, that's a problem. There we go. And that means I need an inbound observation frame like this. And I can also see that this is not a good position. I need to build it like that, I guess. Nope. And I want to make it consistent there. So these will go out from this location, this location, this location, this location, and then consolidate it. And then I also need to make a beacon on the side. Oh, this will be the outbound, upwards. Inbound, 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 inbound. There. And outbound, 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 outbound. There's too many outbounds. And you need to make a beacon right there, so that actually affects everything, because we need all these to be affected. And the speed is there. That is going to be the speed we want. That is going to be making that's a lot of this. That's going to make 4.8 of these observation frames. And then I need to get the liquids out on the other side. That's going to go out here. There. And merge back on the line. And then all of this is now going to go into an astronomics metrics thing. Oh man, why do we not have these? We should have... Oh, they are already requested. That's why. Here. That's unfortunately not going to be inside this area. So you're just going to make observation data. And that will now come in as... You also need the blank cards. So these are putting on the outside. That means I can also just get the other thing on the inside. And let's make sure that it actually gets split out. And so that there are two different locations for picking this up. Nope. That one. That one. Cool. Here. And we need an outbound. That will go just here and then go back. There's only going to be one outbound. Oh, that's also going to be... there's going to be a lot of trash as well. So let's start by actually taking the junk out. Junk is over here. And that will just be put into a box. This is I'm kind of thinking this might not be a good idea later on. And go out and then get it on a bus where we split it into two things. That will be... One of them is the blank cards, and the other one is the other ones. Let's see. So here, and I'll just have the blank cards, the good cards go straight through, and there. Cool. So let's hook it up and see how that works. Okay, almost right with this one. Oh yeah, there. And that's connected, so I get rid of this. We need an inbound here. That comes in. Then I need an inbound here for the... whatever they're called. The blank cards. And these are now going out. So we're making it in here. That will make some data. And then go out. The thing is, this is pretty much the same for the next two. So let's just copy paste those. And of course I messed up the filters here, but that's now been corrected. We have all of these working, and I'll just build these in so that they get all our excess ones here. Get that in, and this one as well. Get that in as well. There we go. Look at that. They are huffing and puffing, they're spinning, they're working, and we now have all three of those. So now the next thing we want to do is basically a small little build here. We'll build it here. This will be the AstroSpect Multi, this one here, and we're going to build it happily. It's pretty simple because we got all the stuff we need, so it's just simply an in and out from this location. And coming in here, here, and getting these belts out. Funny how this is on both sides. Let's pretend that it's not. It should definitely not be. There we go. They go in and they go out on the other side here. Not having any kind of storage, just go fast in and out. And let's get it also a little bit faster. 1, 2, and then throw some of that in as well. Great. So we now have the astrometric data. Yeah, that's what we wanted. Astrometric data. Onwards to the next. Onwards and upwards. We need now some supercomputers. We got those here. And let's see. Is that the right height I'm building it? Yeah, like that. There. Yes, that looks good. What is it we want to do now? Now we want to make the catalog, which is requiring all the 3 different operations plus the astrometrics data. So it is just as simple as that. Build this. This will definitely be faster. And we'll need 2 of these just to get the right ratios up and running. And let's see. So this needs 4 inputs and has 1 output. Doesn't have anything that doesn't work. So that's actually really nice. And here and here. And the other side from that one. And does that match? Yes, it does match. Good. So we just need in here and out as well. Great. So now this one is a little bit, has a little bit of a kink, but hey, no kink shaming here. There we go. And up for that. And let's see, do we need an input here and an input here, and then I need these inputs in the middle, I guess. There we go. That sounds good. And throw in the rest. And this is just a simple output. So we'll just get that simply output like this. And for some reason it has to go over here. So now we also have the astrometric state, astro something. Yes, we got the astro something. Cool. I can't really take it seriously with all these things that are all called the same thing. it's just a little bit too strained for me. But the next thing we want to make is the insight. So that's a simple one as well. We just take the AstroNomics catalog we just built, and that should get us some of those cards back again. So again, this one definitely needs to go faster, and it's a little bit slow. So let's do 3 of those, and then we just get our inbounds. Like, this is excruciatingly easy to make in the sense that if you have a bus like this, I know a lot of people have been like, oh, you're an idiot, you build a bus for a space. Yeah, okay, fine. I'm actually thinking that this is a really, really simple way of doing it, because it's just hooking up yet another thing that we have. And yes, the bus will be a little bit wide, but who cares? And then they need to get stuff outbound, and that will go out here. And then we definitely need to get some kind of filtering here, and that will be what do we think we want? Well, we want to get the good stuff that has to proceed the insight over on that side. There, and that goes in here, and that goes in here as well. And that one flows backwards on the bus. There we go. On the lower one is the blank cards, on the upper one is the broken cards. And that gives us some more insights. Great. Now, insights, though, is a little bit of a tricky thing, because I actually also want insight to go somewhere else. So maybe I should... I'm going to need one of those inserters that soon will disappear. One of these. Oh, I already had one. There. And that will go in here, because I actually want the insight, the blue insight here, to go in and be available for something a little bit down the line. Now, we got all the stuff we need. So I think the only thing we miss is just piecing it all together and figuring out what it is we want to make. And this is over here. We can now make the blue science. So we got all these things. The significant data is unfortunately a thing that not really sure we have in supply yet, but we will get it, and this is a good start. So what is it we need? We need beryllium inbound. We need the 2 things out inbound here. So we get the 2 stuff we just built. All of that lengthy process goes all the way into just getting some of that. We also got the beryllium on the belt. That's the first half of this video, and that goes in here. Then we have the outbound, where we just actually put this stuff out. But there will be some junk cards. Those are the junk cards we want. We only want to get junk cards out on the bus. That is the junk cards. Good. And the rest of it will actually be going into a little box here. That will be for the blue science. There. And there we go. And I don't want to fill it up. I only want to fill it up to this. So what are we missing? We're missing the insight. So the insight will be something I'm going to bring in with a requester, because I'm going to be using it in a different way for how to build it. And of course we don't have this, which is a little bit unfortunate. So we need to make some insights, and the first thing we want to make is the research that we can get. So let's get some insight. All right, so we got the first insights here. I'm going to be putting it in 10 insights. That will give us 10. It's actually gives us twice as much. The reason why we need just 10, just to get that done, because I've actually torn down the one we got from the pink science, because I want to get this science particularly. And these are already being brought back over to our science facility, bringing it in here. There are 9 inbound, 8 inbound, 11 inbound. Good. So once they go inbound, they go into these locations, and then we'll get the astroparticle simulation. The great thing about this is I can then take 18 astronomics and 18 energy and get 6 significant data. Why is that good? Well, because if you look at this, this is 36 energy for 4. So if you combine the different types, you get something better. And therefore I need to get this one really quick. And that is going to be the last thing we want to do, because as soon as you unlock a new one, then you definitely want to use that, because it gets you higher yield. That is going to be down here. And I'm going to build it somewhat like this. And it's not really researched yet, so we'll get Why is it like this? Okay, we got it. And that means I can now get this part. Yes, copy, paste. All right, and this will definitely need to be... let's actually go with a weird setup. Is that a weird setup? Nah. Let's see. This is having 2 outputs. And here. And I need to filter that out. That is going to be insights over here, which will be... That goes back in. And you here, 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 here. That will be the return of that. And this one will go in. And something that I haven't shown, but I have now also built this part here. Interesting. Oh, right. It's because it's colliding with something else. That's why it's a little bit different. And what you do not see here is right now I get it. I thought I had a feeling that I wanted it to be 3 apart, and I couldn't really remember why I wanted it 3 apart. That is more than 3 apart. There we go. This was the reason why I wanted it 3 apart here, and we want to make these really fast because they're super slow as they are. Good. But the other part was I can also use this for getting stuff inbound and getting stuff outbound. So for example, I will be requesting, in this one, I'll be requesting some yellow insights. Let's get 10. And the next one will be getting this one. Let's request 10. Yes. And they will go in. And then later on we'll get the other ones. And I don't need to have them separate, but you know, it just feels good to have it separate here. And that will just be not an infinite amount of significant data. We don't really want that. Inbound, yes. So they're coming inbound and these are now connected. Let's see. So as they go, this goes in, it's good. Ah, right. This actually has to be 50 because they need 36 each. Otherwise it just takes too long for them to get in here. That one, good. All right, so we need to make sure that this gets done, and I will then need to get here into a box because these are so low quantity that there's really no reason for me to. That's not how things work. Thank you. Let's actually do this in a different way, like this. It's much nicer to do it this way. And this will be the insignificant data, like that. And the other 2 will be out here, and they will be the blank cards. Yes, blank cards. Blank cards out. Good. All right. So are they working? Yes. Are you working? Yeah. There's a line here. And as they're working, we get the significant data. Significant data goes over and goes into the energy science. And it goes also up here for the blue science. Slowly, but it will get there. And we got it working a little bit faster. Well, it doesn't matter if it's a little bit faster here. Cool. So that was a really lengthy episode, but on the other hand, it also was the complete walkthrough of how to make the astronomics data, astro something data, the blue science, first level of the blue science. And I think that's going to be how I want to run this series forward. I will be taking each science or each sort of major overhaul and making a separate guide for it, so you can kind of follow along and use it for reference if you are playing it along. So if you want to see more, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and join on Twitch streams on Sundays for more Factorio space exploration. Thank you for watching. Until next time, take care and stay effective.